Good morning and welcome to the session on Introduction to Cost Accounting. In the last session, we have seen what were the limitations of financial accounting that led to the rise and establishment of the subject cost and management accounting. So now let us see the definition of cost, costing, cost accountancy, and the objectives of cost accounting in this session. So, very definition of cost is given by CIMA London, that is Chartered Institute of Management Accounting, where they say the definition of cost is the amount of expenditure, whether actual money or notional, that is hypothetical, incurred or attributable to a given thing. Whereas ICWA India, they define cost as it is a measurement in monetary terms of the amount of resources used for the purpose of production of goods or of rendering services. So, very clearly given, if there is any amount spent for the purpose of producing a particular product or service, whether it is actually incurred, that is, whether any actual cash has been spent, or hypothetically, that is, there are certain instances of notional expenses. So in case if it is so, then it will be considered as cost. So this is the definition of cost. The most important point to be noted is it should be able to be quantified in terms of money. The second thing is there should be a purpose, either for production of goods or for providing a service, and it should be relatable to the product or service which is being provided. So let us see the next, that is the definition of costing. So costing is, as per CIMA, the techniques and processes of ascertaining costs. So techniques is to mean the various methods that are employed to find out the cost of producing a particular product. So let us suppose in case of the construction of building, the method of assessing cost is different than the cost of identifying for maybe a soap or any other FMCG product, where it is processed in various phases. Through various stages, the raw material converts to the finished product. So the technique or the method which is employed is different in both the industries. So that is what makes the difference between the cost and costing. Costing is where we are able to gather all the information related to the cost which has been incurred for the production of a particular product or service. There's one more definition given by Weldon, so which says the proper allocation of expenditure and involves the collection of costs for every order, job, process, service or unit. So as said earlier, whatever information is available related to the expense which has been made, which is in costing terms called as cost, anything spent for the production of a good or service will be collected, and the collection of such a data will be called as costing. Let us see what is cost accounting. So cost accounting is nothing but we have understood what is cost and costing. So when this costing, that is all the information related to cost, is written according to the principles of cost accounting, then it becomes cost accounting. So let us see, it is the process as defined by CIMA London. It is the process of accounting for cost from the point at which expenditure is incurred or committed. Point at which expenditure is incurred is to mean, in the case of production of goods, we can identify it as that point which begins from the purchase of raw materials. So from the purchase of raw materials, then conversion process where the raw material undergoes the different stages of production, and we receive the finished product. So these are the different stages. So all throughout this stage, from the purchase of raw material till the sale of the finished product, whatever expenses have been incurred will be considered as cost, and all this information will be collected. To the establishment of its relationship with cost center and cost units. So cost center is that we try to identify where we can directly relate this cost. Say for example, purchase cost related to purchase of raw materials can be directly attributed to or be related to the purchase department. Similarly, all the cost incurred in converting the raw material to the finished product will be under the production department. So these departments are cost center, where we are able to identify where is the money being spent. In its widest usage, it embraces the preparation of statistical data, the application of cost control methods, and ascertainment of profitability of activities carried out or planned. So, what it says is that as we know, all the information related to cost is collated, and the collated data is put that is various cost control methods, so variance analysis, budgets, standard costing, marginal costing. All these costing methods are being applied, and we try to identify what are the deviations from the planned and to the actual, and then we try to find out the profitability of activities carried out. So as we know, in case of cost accounting, it is possible to find out the profitability related to each product which is being manufactured in the organization. So that will be easy in it will be helpful for the managers to decide which product line has to be continued and which product line has to be pruned. So this is about the cost accounting. Let us see the definition of cost accountancy. So CIMA London defines it as the application of costing and cost accounting principles, methods and technique to the science, art and practice of cost control and the ascertainment of profitability. It includes the preparation of information derived therefrom for the purposes of managerial decision making. So whatever information that has been collected under the costing, all these, when they are put under proper format of preparing the cost accounts, the rules that are applied under cost accounts, when these are being followed, they become cost accountancy. So that is what it ultimately means here. Let us look into the objectives of cost accounting. The four main objectives of cost accounting is: first, the ascertainment of cost, which is the whole and sole purpose of the system of cost accounting. Next is cost control and cost reduction. The third one is guide to business policy. And the last one, determination of selling price. So the first purpose, the first objective of cost accounting is ascertainment of cost. As we know, the limitations of financial accounting was what gave rise to the cost accounting subject, and as managers or the management board will be very interested to know, even to control those areas of expenditure and expenses. So cost is one most important aspect, because if the company is ignorant, then there may be wasteful expenditure or wasteful expenses happening, which may affect the profitability of the organization. So the very first objective of cost accounting is to identify identify the cost, and the cost will be in different terms, not only just the cost of production of the goods, but also it includes the cost of running the business, the offices, the salaries of the employees, the other expenses related to maybe the advertisement, the legal cases or suits which follow. All these things are being included, and the company has to think about its profit. So for all these purposes, ascertaining the cost to the company is very important. The next objective of cost accounting is cost control and cost reduction. So cost control is the other most important area for any company. Because there is a budget which is being set as to how much financial resources are available, and it is important for the organization also to spend wisely, because finance is one thing which is scarce, and earning profit and to sustain also we require money. And to do that, it is not only sufficient that we have a good sales, but also we have a good system of control over cost. So that is why cost control will and the cost reduction, wherever possible, we can reduce on our unnecessary expenses, maybe in the form of the allowances or what other kind of expenses which will be incurred in the organization can be reduced. So that is the second area of cost accounting. Third is guide to business policy. So it is because of the subject of cost accounting, a company can formulate its business policy, especially in the areas of providing credit to customers and taking credit from its suppliers. So they can decide their financial position and decide what amount of credit has to be granted to its customers, what is the number of days for which the credit has to be given. At the same time, they also can decide what is their payable or the money which they have to return to their suppliers. This also can be decided. So this is how the cost accounting serves or helps the business in taking their business to the new heights. The next is determination of selling price. The other ultimate objective of cost accounting is to help in the fixation of the selling price. So selling price, when we fix, it is always known the equation is cost plus profit is equal to selling price. So the two most important areas, that is the first is cost, which is covered in the first objective, that is ascertainment of cost. Based on that cost, there is a certain percentage of profit which will be fixed, and this together will help in determining the selling price. Again, while fixing the selling price, the company has to keep in mind whether the selling price will be such that the product is available to the people or whether it will be too costly for the people to purchase. So all these aspects have to be considered, and then the selling price has to be fixed. And for this purpose, cost accounting helps us by providing very useful information about cost, which has been